Excuse me. Might I trouble you for a moment? I am an old man, and although I may not deserve such kindness, I have a small request. My grown son Jeff and I were among a group of pilgrims heading out to Zulfi's Cove. We had one of our fights, the worst I can ever remember. And well, he went one way and I another, each of us vowing not to speak to the other again. I was not a very good father to Jaff. Although I can no longer be part of the pilgrimage of redemption for the Utraean people, I still seek atonement for my sins as a man and as a father. But the years weigh heavily on me, and I grow weaker each day. I fear I am now too feeble to travel. I have written this letter to Jaff. I am ashamed to ask you to play courier, but could you get it to him?
Ancient ruin is all that remains of Utraean center of power. Here the wretched Utraeans held me captive, and it is here that I shall be their undoing. I shall divert the Displacer's power source, and use it to charge the staff of stars, ensuring the destruction of the Utraeans and their world.
You must stop it from perverting the power of the Displacers. It was my sacred task, but I have failed. Help reverse the damage that it has caused.
Greetings, my wayward friends. I am Dromea, and I am more of a friend than you know. I followed the Hassat, who carried the Stone of Lahak here. But I was thwarted by the Shadowed Minions. I did spy the Shadow Jumper himself. He fled toward the old transportation center, deep under the heart of the ruined city. Unlike most of my fellows, I am not content to sit and wait for our end to arrive. We must repair the damage that our ancestors have done. We must stop the Shadow Jumper. Take me with you, so I may lend my strength to this end. Good luck on your travels. But know this, stranger, I am disappointed.
Greetings! Welcome to the Central Transportation Center. We hope your journey is a pleasant one. Greetings! Welcome to the Transportation. Please note that the displacer located the Great Plot is temporarily closed. As a courtesy, please refrain from littering, loitering, spitting, or spellcasting inside the building. Your cooperation is appreciated. You are now entering a restricted area. You are not authorized to be here. Please return to the main concourse. Security has been notified. Make sure that all pack animals are completely on the displacer pads before departure. Good morning.
And what a lovely day it is.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine.
May your journey be a pleasant one. We hope to see you again soon.
am Bran Turan, a tradesman, and I give you fair warning. You enter the vale known as Demlock's Cut, a once lush and beautiful valley, but is now overrun by a dark presence, one even worse than the Zorask abominations that infest the island. This evil is known as the Rune Master. My son Luke and I were separated when we were attacked by this foul creature. Luke is trapped on the other side of the bridge. Be wary. The dark creatures the rune casters summon are not to be trifled with, and the Rune Guardian wields the Scythe of Ankh, the first blade forged by Utraean smiths, imbued with the power to call down lightning. Destroy him, and it shall be yours.
For defeating the Runecasters and their terrible creatures. Please feel free to trade from my stock of goods. And thank you for making it possible for me to reunite with my father.
Once again, fair traveler. Behold, the remains of what was once the greatest storehouse of Utraean knowledge, the Tower of Comethek. Though I am afraid it has lost some of its former glory. I would like to conduct an exploration of the tower, yet it has become overrun with groups of foul doppelgangers. Please make sure that it is safe for me to enter. An old scholar like me doesn't stand a chance against those monstrous doppelgangers. And hurry, my faithful assistants will no doubt be here soon.
Oftentimes,
I have put these records in the protection of this sunken temple and the evils that now lie within. If ye are pure of heart, do all so that good shall triumph. There was an invasion by a small, vile folk. They had begun to bastardize the great clock for their own dark purposes. I believe they are trying to pervert its true purpose and to unlock the secrets of our magics. If they succeed, it will result in our ruin, the clock's destruction, and the complete isolation of the island from the mainland. And if they succeed in unlocking the clock's secrets to the mastery of the weather, then great storms and destruction will cover the land and destroy us. There was an invasion by a small, vile folk. They had begun to bastardize the great clock for their own dark purposes. I believe they are trying to pervert its true purpose and to unlock the secrets of our magics. If they succeed, it will result in our ruin, the clock's destruction, and the complete isolation of the island from the mainland. And if they succeed in unlocking the clock's secrets to the mastery of the weather, then great storms and destruction will cover the land and destroy us.
At the peak of the Utraeans' war against the Zarosk, the Saurians formed a plan to take Demlock by surprise. Far-reaching catacombs were excavated underneath the Temple of Comethec, and in the still and dark of the night, the Zarosk broke through the temple's subfloor and began to stream upwards through the temple, slaughtering the Utraean wizards. In desperation, Demlock used all of his power and magic to summon massive thunderclouds, bringing with them a downpour the likes of which the world had never seen. Accompanied by bone-rattling thunder, lightning strikes shattered the landscape and formed the ravine now known as Demlock's Cut. As the rain poured down from the heavens, it was channeled into the cut and rushed through the subterranean chambers that the Zarosk had hewn, drowning and trapping thousands of the Saurians. At this very moment of seeming victory, a lone Zarosk archer's arrow found its way home square in Demlock's back. Reeling in pain, Demlock toppled from the uppermost spire of the temple. The rain did not stop with Demlock's demise, however. The downpour assaulted the soil, and many of the Zarosk catacombs collapsed. Soon the ground under and around the temple grew saturated, and the shrine began to sink steadily into the earth, leaving only the upper spire above ground. To this day, the rain continues to fall around the Temple of Comethec.
The clock is our crowning achievement. It tracks and records the patterns of the elements and the weather of this world. When we have gathered enough data, the clock will be our way of manipulating the subtle changes in the seasons. In this way, we can control the length of agricultural cycles, extend rainstorms to ensure an endless supply of fresh water, and to...
The sword, or blade, is one of the finest examples of modern weaponry. Its simple design is at once beautiful and dangerous. Now, there are many schools that teach different styles, or ways, of the sword. Chief among these is the Steve Vaughn School, whose main tenet is that the length of the blade is the focus of the weapon, and who teaches the finer points of using the weapon in this fashion. The other 35 schools are as follows. The Augustan.
The orbs of Demlock are the subject of today's lesson. These magnificent extensions of magical energy derive their name from the sorcerer who discovered them and their purpose. Formed from the very fabric of the energy matrix that surrounds us all, the orbs can be made to reflect any form of energy that we are currently aware of. Lightning, acid, fire, etc. And so we see that the orbs are not only used for defensive purposes, but also, by concentrating one's thoughts, one can order the orbs to attack.
This is then the lesson, that all life can be changed, not just by learning and studies, for though this is a sure way to effect change in intelligence, it is one that is too slow for our purpose. This then is our only solution, to take the next brave step and effect these changes on a more rapid scale, to force the changes according to our schedules and whims and not that of the natural order. Only in this way can we ensure that the creatures we are cultivating will reap the benefit of our gifts.